one book then.
Hello and welcome to Euro Football Centre's first podcast. We're going to do an unscripted podcast today. So today we've got all three founders. We've got Mr. Elias Dolah.
Hello.
Mr. Cian Boonpen. And myself, Sam. How do we start, boys? Where do we go from here? I suppose we talk about our story individually and then go from there. Perhaps how Euro started and our vision going forwards. And basically an introduction into who we are and who Euro is as well.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Anyone want to volunteer to go first?
Elias.
Elias.
I take it.
Yeah, go ahead. You tell me. Maybe talk about like how when you first got into football, your story getting into football and everything, and then we can go from there.
Yeah, sure. I'm from Sweden. So I'm born in Sweden. And I started playing football quite early when I was 6. Just playing in my village team called Dolby GIF. And just enjoying football and floorball actually. So those were the two sports I was playing. And after that I played in Dolby until I was like 15. I was playing with the senior team when I was 14, 15 and playing Division 5 in Sweden. And I almost stopped playing football because I thought it was quite boring, to be honest, to play with the senior team. I never played for a big academy. I never played for a big team when I was younger. Just enjoyed football in general. And then I got called to play for the under-19s in Lunds BK, and I thought, yeah, that's a good challenge. So I went to Lunds BK. It's a Division 1 club in Sweden, and I played under-19 there. It was more fun to play with youth in your own age compared to playing with senior players that were quite shitty quality. But it was also a good experience to play with the seniors quite early. And then after under-19 in Lunds BK, I signed with the first team in Lunds BK. That's my first semi-professional contract, where I made like 1,000 Swedish crowns a month, which is like 100 euros a month, which is like 3,000 baht a month, around that. Yeah.
Wow.
That's my contract. 2 years when I was 19, 20. And during that contract period, those 2 years, I went to Thailand to visit my family in Thailand. And then I tried for a team in south of Thailand because my family is from the south. And that team wanted to sign me since I could get the Thai citizenship. So that's my path.
Yeah. So I think we're right in saying that Elias is the most established football player out of the three of us. Like, what period of your life did you feel like it was your big break in football?
Probably signing a contract that I could live on, and that was coming to Thailand and sign for Songkla.
Yeah.
That's my big break for sure, because I couldn't live on my salary in Sweden.
Yeah.
Impossible. Like, who can live on 3,000, 4,000 baht? And when the club had financial problems, that money didn't even come. So I could not even pay for like gas going to training. I had to work as a stand-in teacher. I was working in the grocery store. I did a lot of work like on the side just to make a living,
That's crazy.
Yeah. So it's like that's
crazy.
That's not overly unheard of for footballers at a lower level to then have a second job or third job, etc. to me. But then how difficult is that for you then, just to go in and play, matches and focus on your training when you've got to work extra shifts maybe like after the games or after trainings, before trainings, etc.?
No, it's totally different. Like you don't have time to put in the extra work either. Like now, for example, when I'm a professional footballer, I have time to in the morning go to the gym, for example, do some mobility exercises, whatever I need, If I need to take a nap before training, I have time to do that,
Mm-hmm.
If you have a second job, you don't have that liberty to do that. You don't have the free time to do that. So you will have to go into training quite exhausted. Maybe you woke up like 6 a.m. to go to the school and work extra. Yeah, so you don't have the liberty to actually develop as a football player because you're working extra on the side.
Yeah.
You come to training quite exhausted already.
Yeah.
And then it's just a hamster wheel that goes around like that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So you're what, 30 now?
Yes.
So you come into the national team at what age?
I think 4 years ago. I think 2019 was my first year in the national team. So I was 26 something, yeah, probably.
Okay, and that's in terms of like taking on that as well as club football. I suppose now that you're playing at Bali, I see your schedule's so busy.
Yeah.
What's that like?
Yeah, I think I haven't had a free day in like 2 months now. Like not one free day after game wasn't free, like.
Yeah.
And when we have national team days, usually that my team gets free, like they get 3-4 days, but I have to go to national team. So it's quite exhausting, but I'm grateful that I'm not injured or anything, because injury time is the worst time for me.
Yeah.
Honestly. So just being able to be fit and enjoy football, I'm happy. I'm grateful.
Yeah. I suppose we can touch on injuries a bit later on, because I know you've had a big injury in the past. Mr. Cian.
What's your youth path?
Talk to us about, you've got for a Thai foot player, you've got quite an unorthodox pathway into football. It's not common pathway. So
yeah, I mean, everyone's got their own story, and you could say mine's quite unique. I mean, I'm Thai, like Thai mum and dad, and then but I grew up in England. Grew up there since I was 1 until 19. So I just grew up like a normal English kid.
yeah,
To be honest, I just grew up in like a decent area, just on the outskirts of London. Like a normal class really, and I just grew up like a normal English kid. But I got into football, in England, because it's a sport. Everyone knows probably football's the number 1 sport in the world, and in England, it's like they say, it's the home of football. So it's everywhere in football. It's easy access, right from the early ages, So 6-7 years old, I probably got into football. 7 years old, like year 2. And then I just went to play like in a Sunday league club. And I did alright, did okay, signed there. And then it was pretty fast, like from there, that 7 years old, I had interest in like a few clubs straight away. Like after playing Sunday league, got scouted by Chelsea, because these are the clubs like near my area. So I got scouted by Chelsea, but then things went very fast at that age. So when I was like 8, my dad had friends in, like I said, I'm from Thailand and stuff. And at that time, I don't know if anyone was really documented so much, like Thai kids play outside of Thailand and stuff. And then straight away, like I went kind of in the Thai media when I was like 8, 9. It starts to be in the media in Thailand, like, this kid is playing in England, and there's clubs in England looking at him, like Chelsea and stuff. So I went to a few clubs at that time. Okay, I went to Chelsea, I didn't get signed. And then, but still, still in Sunday League and stuff. And then Fulham, Reading, and obviously being in more like professional, pretty big clubs, strong academies as well, because England is probably it's for sure the hardest place in the world to make it as a footballer. Most competitive, probably the most pool of talented players, I would say, for sure. And so I was playing with top level youth players, you know, when I'm in these teams, and then right the way through up, you know, sometimes in the academy system, you know, in the professional level of youth, sometimes coming out, you know, back into Sunday League. So it's been challenging all along the way when I was playing youth, whilst having pressure of like exposure in the media in Thailand, which, you know, at a young age is not easy to deal with. But whatever, like along the way, like I went to like Leicester. I was the first Thai player of like at that time when King Power just bought Leicester. Like,
Yeah.
it was easy for them to find me and get in contact with me. I went there all the way up, and then in the last club in England was at Reading. So when the Thai owners at that time bought Reading, they got in contact with my family. They met in Bangkok, and then I remember at that time I was like 16, and I didn't get a scholarship at QPR. And then I was just like at that age thinking about what do you do, and at England that's like a decisive moment. 16, if you don't get a scholarship, you can many people that don't go onto that step go into a completely different path. And for me, you know, it was lucky after not getting QPR, then Reading came. So I spent that year at Reading, and then it was not smooth, but whatever, I was there, and it was probably the best experience though that I've had in football in my life, because at that age, when you're at under 18 level in England, it starts to get more serious. So then I'm training every day,
Yeah.
with like youth national team players. Then after that, that's when after that year, I had a year of like coming out of that system again, a professional system, thinking about going to non-league in England or coming back to play in Thailand. And for me, it was like no-brainer to come back and try what I thought would have been an easier path, coming back to play in Thailand.
Yeah. But I suppose, like, you know, growing up in England where the FA heavily fund the youth systems here a lot more so than the Thai FA, do you think that's probably been like a really good start for you coming into playing in Thailand, or was it quite difficult still?
It was a good start. I had the foundations for sure. Like I said, because I was playing with some of the other, like playing and training with other players that are like, you know, some is now playing Premier League.
Yeah.
So in terms of that, yes, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more competitive for sure environment than what I, for example, grew up with. I'm just thinking, which players did you, for example, play with in the youth academies that now play on a very high level? Can you name them?
Yeah, talk about some of your friends, man.
I mean, like I said, the most for me, and in my area, being from near London, you get to see and come across a lot of talented players, because like in London, the population, the clubs around, you've got in London alone, you've got Arsenal, Tottenham, Chelsea, Fulham, QPR, and the list goes on. But for me, like when I was at Reading and that year where I was training full time, I played with top players at that time. That at that time were like playing like youth level for like Scotland, USA, Ireland, some England youth international players like under 18s, under 19s, under 21s. But two players that went the furthest, and one is like still to this day probably like, you know, we're tight. We're like, say one of my best friends, and I lived with him. So Omar Richards is like a crazy one, because like that's a crazy story, you know. one day I would for sure get him on, and then we can talk like through video call with him.
Yeah.
What's his current club address?
Now he's at Olympiacos, so it's just crazy, you know. Like he went on to. I was training with him every day, but at that time he was not even starting like in the under 18s for Reading. At that time, really, just the normal like part of the squad. Then it went fast, you know. So he went from that, then eventually going up at Reading to playing in like the first team once he got his chance. Once that happened, 50 games in Reading, done a good job. England under 21s. What was crazy then after that, his contract's coming down to an end at Reading. The crazy thing that he gets to move to Bayern Munich. You know, even saying that now just gives me goosebumps. It's crazy. Like he moved to Bayern Munich. Then he's training with players like he's number 2 to Alphonso Davies, and I'm like, that's my best friend. You know, it's crazy.
Yeah. I suppose saying that, like, for those of you that are parents and have kids there, you know, it goes to show that some people develop quite later on in, you know, so like, you know, players now in the U11s, U12s, U13s or whatever, you know, they might get a lot of pressure and stuff to perform. Yeah, and you should, of course, you should want to try to perform every week, but then again, it's like some players at 18, 19, 20 onwards, even in the mid-20s, really, really kick on in their career, don't they? So it's quite an interesting story as well to go on. But when did you start playing senior football in Thailand?
I was 21 or 22 when I came here. Yeah. And I remember I played 7 games.
Yeah.
And then we played Police United was the team, big team. They were down in second league with us. And we played home. They got a really cheap penalty. And our keeper saved the penalty. The ball goes out again for a rebound. And I slide into the goalpost to block one shot. And I killed my knee. So I played 7 games my first year in Thailand when I came. And then I injured myself for a year.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I suppose this is the time where I tell you a little bit about my background story. Move the microphone a little bit. Yeah. So I probably have the least exciting story out of the 3 of us, but like again, like seeing, you know, growing up in England, just going through the youth systems. I remember at 16 just leaving high school thinking, oh, what we're going to do, you know, like without a club and stuff. And that's all I ever wanted to do is just play football. But I was lucky to get a chance to play at a League One club called Bury. Unfortunately, like, great club. I mean, they've just come back up, but they went into liquidation. And they had financial problems when I was playing there anyway, I remember. Not getting kit for months and months, and same with the first team, and I believe the Gary Neville and Phil Neville were the ones that paid everyone's salary for a few months. So that year that the first team we were playing in League One, who unfortunately went down, you know, with financial issues and stuff. But again, really, really good experience. First year was like flying, played almost every game twice a week, 18s, reserves, played with some great players, and then, you know, after Bury, you know, like, my second year, 3 days before my 18th birthday, I was like, oh, I'm not feeling so good, not feeling well. Just went to the doctors, and they're like, oh, you've got to go to the hospital immediately. And I'm like, oh, okay. So it's kind of a bit of a shock, and going from there, they're like, oh yeah, you've got a form of kidney failure, nephrotic syndrome, and I couldn't believe it. I must have spent about 6-7 months out not playing football in that second year, put on a lot of weight, and coming back into it in the second half, at the later stage of the season, it was like, you know, everyone's fighting for that professional contract, but like I've not played in almost a year, and I'm expected to perform. So it's kind of like towards that end, the end there, I was kind of thinking, you know, I've pretty much accepted, like, okay, I'm probably not going to stay at this club anyway. And that's when I went into playing non-league. I played non-league in the Conference North and Evo Stick as well. And I remember just getting a call. I got a call from an agent saying that he had a club in Thailand, and at that time I knew nothing about Thai football. It was like, I didn't know, not even one team I knew in Thailand, and it was like, you've got to be in Thailand next week. So I just said, yeah, quit my job. I needed to have another job on the side of playing non-league, and I quit my job, put my notice in, and flew out to Bangkok pretty much a few days later. And I went to a team called Port. I think it was the first year Madame Peng took over. So some of the names still playing them are like Nittipong Salenon. He was still playing at the time. One of the noticeable names. A lot of the team changed. Warren Wood was still, the goalkeeper, still there. Yeah, it was a crazy transition, to be fair. It was difficult. I couldn't adjust. Coach got sacked. Went back to England, played non-league for a little bit, and then I had an opportunity to come into Ratchaburi to train, and that's where I met my good friend Kevin.
Who's sleeping?
Kevin. Yeah, he's sleeping currently whilst we're doing the podcast, and
This is what I was saying about Ness before the training.
yeah,
you need it.
he's like,
You need it.
I remember I turned up to training one day and I thought we were going to do the gym, and the coach was like, yeah, we're going to run up the stadium stairs, up and down, doing jumps, everything in the beaming, in Ratchaburi, in the beaming hot sun. And I remember
At the stadium,
yeah, the stadium.
running upstairs.
I didn't have running trainers up with me, and I noticed that Kevin was laughing at me for wearing Balenciagas to run up the stairs and stuff. But I suppose, in the end, you know, I trialed and went to a lot of various clubs in Thailand, you know, Lampang, Ranong. Crazy experiences, are very difficult, mentally challenging, but ended up settling and playing a lot of games lower down the division, 10,000 baht a month with 5k rent, and just had to walk miles to get an 8 baht boat to training, and then train, and then come back and do the same, and eating 20 baht, 40 baht boxes of food. Like, it was really challenging. But I think then you know, as you get older, you come to a realization of, is this for me, kind of thing. And I was quite lucky to transition and get the job at Bali United to work in the academy there, and my role changed a little bit from coaching into more analytical work with the academy. And after about a year and a half, maybe closer to 2 years, I was actually going to return to play when I met you for the first time. I was going to go back to play at Siam FC, and I started, it was COVID as well, so I was starting like the pre-season runs and stuff, having send videos of workouts from home. And then at the time, my girlfriend at the time, she called me up to say that she's pregnant, and I just think I had to make a choice to continue to earn very little money and continue to play and do this as a passion, or find something with more stability. And so when I started working at the international schools more, and I think that provided me a lot more stability for me and my family. And I think that's definitely the better route that I went down, because who's to say, but I don't think I could have made it into the standard that you're playing at now, to be honest with you.
So all of us are Thai. We hold the Thai citizenship, and I got mine when I moved there to play football. Did you guys have yours already, or? Yeah.
Yes.
From before.
Yeah, you lived here for 3 years though, right?
Yeah, I was born here, lived here for 3 years, and
So you had it from then?
no. I had Thai citizenship from the moment I was born. I was born in Thailand.
Yeah.
So it was like, my mum would put pressure to say, like, oh, you know, when you turn 15, 16, we're going straight back to Thailand to do your ID card. And I did. I made it all did it all properly.
You can say thank you to your mum.
Yeah. So I'm lucky in that sense that, you know, playing football here, I always had that, was recognised as a Thai national, you know, Thai player, local player.
You?
Yeah, like I hold both nationalities, like UK and Thai.
When did you get your Thai?
Like when I moved, when I came and signed for Bali United, like, because it was the whole like mad thing about like, do I have to do military service or not?
Right.
Anyways, but I was playing for Bali United, so it's cool. It was, so, you know, we sorted it.
But did you have to go and pick?
No. Actually, when I came back after doing my Thai ID, I came back and I remember having a meeting, because I've got a twin brother as well. My mother spoke to them, and we had to do like you have to do sort of like medical checkups and stuff. And my mum notified them that I had that kidney failure, so it was, no one ever really contacted me from then on to do military service or.
Yeah, they want fully fit guys.
Yeah, so
You can't help that, mate.
no, I'm unfortunately with bad kidneys, I'm not able to
Go to war.
go to war. But then again, maybe it's a silver lining there.
Yeah.
I think so. In career-wise, I think that's a good thing for me. But
Anyways, but yeah, we all have the Thai one.
But you took the corrupt route.
I know, I just played football as a form of my
Military service.
yeah, but I suppose we've all like gone through a little bit of who we are and our route into football, and I think you should take this one, Cian. And how did your football centre start? I mean, we've got
That's a mad thing.
we're 26 minutes in with 3% battery. Let's expedite how your football centre has come about and talk about
I think it's just an alignment of the stars, mate.
yeah.
Nah, but it's a bit of an alignment thing here, and like, you know, things fall into place like you always say, but like all natural things, you know, nothing planned from back then. Now if things is planned, like, you know, but back then it was like everything happened and formed organically, you know. You couldn't have written a script for it. Like, it comes from the forming of and the foundations of mine and your friendship over the last 4 years, you know, how we built our friendship, just, you know, how it can develop to build like the brother relationship that we have. And then, you know, good people meet good people, but like, for like going back to when I played for Bali United, like my first friend in Thailand I made is Oscar Carl. He's half Swedish, and he was here in Thailand just a bit before me. He had his community of like half Swedish people, you know, like you said, Kevin, Elias, a few others, you know, and I got to make friends with Oscar's friends, and that's over the years. And then as time's gone by, as I get to the point where I stopped playing professionally in Thailand, and you had already stopped, and I got into the path of coaching. You was in coaching already, and then we did it together at Bangkok Patana for already a year, and you were getting a lot, you know, it was clear we was doing a good job because the kids was, you know, they was enjoying our sessions and stuff. And then I just thought we had more to offer, you know. I always thought that. So it just, you know, me and you discussing. After you had a good number of clients, or one-to-one clients, I just said, shall we just start a football academy? And then that's just when I texted Elias, you know, because we have a good friendship already. And then it was just like instant message back, yes, let's do it. Us meeting in a cafe then in Ekame like a week later, and just working on it from that day onwards, like non-stop for the last year.
Yeah. So, what was I'd be interested to know, like, what was your initial response when Cian then asked you? Because for me, I'll be honest, like, I was always in the mindset at the beginning of, I'm not sure if that's running an academy was for me. And I was kind of like thinking, I had another job at the time, and I remember just thinking, oh, maybe this is too much workload for me, and maybe this is not the path for me. But, you know, as time went on and developed and we had these meetings, I kind of thought, oh, okay, I think we can provide value here. I think we've got a good combination of us three and what we can bring to the table. So it'd be interesting to know what you thought initially and then how you feel now.
Yeah, for me, it's always been like a side thing, but I always, like, I never thought I would be a professional football player, to be honest. I never thought I would be a role model for someone. But when I have that, when I'm on the scene that I am now, I can see myself being a role model for many people, like for kids especially. And I wanted to do I always try to look for something that I can like influence people in a good way.
Yeah.
And when this idea came up, I was like, yeah, this might be a good thing for me, you know, because then I get another platform where I can maybe be a role model for people, you know. And I told you guys, I won't have too much time, you know, like, yeah. I was pretty clear, you know, like, yeah. I won't have that time to like be at our trainings too much. I won't have, and that's the thing with football careers. You don't really know where you end up. You don't know who will offer you a contract or where's the next thing, you know. So
yeah,
for me, I felt like it was in line with what I'm passionate about. Passionate about football, and I'm passionate about kids. I love kids.
Yeah,
I don't have any of my own kids. I don't have a son. You know, like I really like spending time with kids. You know, and being a role model and trying to teach them good values and stuff.
Yeah.
So it was in line with my passion, and I could make use of the fame that I have, you know, in Thailand, you know, or the scene that I'm on, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant. We're now 1%, 32 minutes in. Should we take a 5-10 minute break and then come back to part 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, part 2. Okay.
Part 2.
Yeah. Okay. Part 2.
With some fun.
But where do we go from here? We were last talking about how Euro Football Centre came about and how you felt going into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, how about you talk about like how you feel about it 1 year in? We're almost 1 year. We're like 2 weeks away from being 1 year open now. So, how do you feel about it, Cian?
For me, I think, like I said this last year, like obviously Ellie said there, like, you know, we knew from day one that his main responsibilities is his main job, which is obviously being a professional football player for, at the time, Port, now Bali, and the Thai national team. But for me and you, this is our chance, you know, to show what we can do to the world, to ourselves. And what I mean by that is that I know that we've worked and given everything every day that we possibly could have over the last 365 days. And in that time, it's been a process of a lot of trial and error, and then eventually establishing what are the key core components and sectors of Euro Football Centre. What do we do? So we're at the point where we can see, yes, we have a clear academy, you know, and we want to start to build from here, having a separate academy program and development program. We've done tours in Thailand, you know, so we offer that service. We do school programs inside schools, so that's another sector. And obviously, like, we've taken players to Europe, so that's what I mean. Over the last year, we've it's taken us working every day to then establish 4, 5, 6 sectors and services that we Euro Football Centre have to offer.
Yeah. Well, for me, like over the last year, it's been like a huge learning curve, because neither of us. I've worked in an academy before. You've worked at the school academy before, but Elias, you've been a professional footballer from most of your adult life. So I think it's been such a learning curve to develop these programs, and there's been stressful moments, but I think it's rewarding to go from, how many players did we start with the first weekend? 6? Was it around 6 to 10 players in the first weekend, to then having 100 players on the books, and then going to one school and second school and now third school, potentially Phuket in September, and Euro Football Centre KL, talks. Yeah, so it's just gone so quickly. What's it been like for you, to see the growth over the last year?
No, it's like I said, Euro Football Centre is a passion for me. I want to be as present as I can. When I was playing in Port, it was easier for me, of course, to be present. I came down to trainings. I tried to show everyone my presence. So it was a big passion for me, and it's fun to see that we're taking steps in the right way. And this first year has been intense, just to start up the company and all this stuff, that part was difficult. It wasn't easy for us because we've never done this before, but we managed to make it happen, and I'm excited for the future, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. Too.
I was thinking we can talk a little bit about the naming, of Euro Football Centre, because we knew before, when we were gonna launch this, we knew that we just didn't want to make an academy, because then we would name it differently, right?
Yeah.
So maybe we can talk, because you were talking about how many sectors and how many type of services we have actually covered.
Yeah.
So that was the vision when we named Euro Football Centre, was already there. Not only to have an academy, that wasn't what we wanted. We wanted more.
Yeah.
Maybe you can.
Yeah, because we have more. Not that we want more, but because we can offer more, and be of benefit to more than just one service.
Yeah.
So. That's it.
In the grand scheme of things, it's almost like, how could we be more than just an academy? And it's diversifying into we have professional players going in, so it is a football centre. It's not just bring your children, come train. There's such a wide range of stuff, like having a group of Australian players team contact us and wanting to tour Southeast Asia and Thailand, and fixing up games and stuff, and taking children to get exposure in Europe and the UK as well. And we did that successfully for the first time a few months back. We had Tung, who's now sponsored by Ari, actually.
And taking him to Sheffield and Lincoln. Now we're going to be offering the Manchester City camp, so we'll be taking kids from Thailand and hopefully Malaysia to experience football in England, Manchester City. So it's good things.
Yeah, definitely. Only good things can happen from here. And I suppose right from the get-go, the intention was always just how can we provide value in not just a coaching way, and not in just like I said, the academy is how can we provide more value in that. So that's why I think we offer the diverse range of all these different products going forward. Where do you see Euro Football Centre being in 5 years?
I see a lot more presence on all our channels. So this we're doing now, for example, like YouTube, all the social media channels, just more presence. Now we're in schools, so I think whoever is in the academy sphere in Bangkok, I think all of them has heard about us at least, you know, and we're just in the first year of running, you know, so more presence in tournaments with our teams, maybe more presence on the channels, more presence everywhere. That's what I see Euro football in 5 years.
I agree.
What do you see?
Before I answer that, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you comment and subscribe as well. Can't forget that. But I haven't really thought about it like too in depth, but I think, you know, like growing the program not just in Thailand, but can we make it Southeast Asia? Can we break into other continents as well? And alongside that, we can't forget, like, with the academy and the value that we can or aim to give to all these children that are involved with Euro Football Centre, whether that be in the school or the academy, is that we have a community centre. You know, Euro Football Centre community was built up to support underprivileged children, to provide a pathway into free education, free housing, and their football development as well. So maybe Cian can talk a little bit more about that, because you were the main catalyst into starting.
It was never the vision to just be a business model. So football is a game that I know firsthand can bring people from all different backgrounds together, culturally, financially, whatever. You know, so people of all backgrounds have an opportunity with football, and so, like I said, for myself, being a player that's been inside the academy system and then, you know, out of it and stuff, it's just a game of opinions. And so when we had an opportunity to take like a group of these released players from Muang Thong and put them under our brand, under our programs, under our management, I just thought it was a good chance for us, even if we were stretched like workload wise. I think, you know, just go for it. And so we did that, and we had good people around that supported the vision, and we've managed to, you know, provide, you know, an opportunity for these boys to get free education, accommodation, coaching, food, and that wouldn't be possible. Those boys wouldn't have that opportunity if it wasn't for not to say for us, but for our vision, and then putting the plan into place and doing it.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that project is also very much in line with, because we are raised in Europe, right? And in Europe, you don't really need like, it doesn't cost much to play football, you know? Football should be a sport for everyone, you know? Like that's, because I remember when I was in Sweden, for example, ice hockey was too expensive for me. Like we would not be able to afford it, even though I wanted to play it. But football was one sport where I got the opportunity to practice my skills, and it wasn't too expensive for us, you know? And in Bangkok there is academies around, but most of them cost money, you know? Unless you're under a big club like BG or Muang Thong or like this, then that's different, I understand. But these kids that we have under our brand now, they are released kids from Muang Thong. They don't have too much opportunities to practice or develop their skills, so now they're being taken care of by good people around us and our brand and whatever we can find for them, you know, sponsors and tournaments and stuff. So it's in line with we at Eurofootball stand for, this
Yeah.
community project.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think on the back of like what both of you are saying is, for me especially, like coming out of football is like, what do I do now? It was very difficult for me to like hold down a job and do just think about doing something else. And I know that's the same with a lot of boys that dream of being professional footballers. But what I'd like to pride ourselves on is that we want to care for these people in their development, not just in playing football, but then how can we develop them as good human beings as well. And I think a good example is one of our most recent coaches is Sean. He's been with us to England to trial at Sheffield Wednesday, and now he's working with us, and we're developing him as a coach as well. And and he's been brilliant. Sean, do you want to come say hello? Come say hello. Hello. Give everyone a wave. Hello. There he is. Okay. Yeah. Where do you go from there?
So making second chances for people.
Yeah, I mean it happens a lot, doesn't it? It's
Second chances for people.
Yeah, definitely. It's gotta look after people's development as well. I think we're good for that. You're definitely a good role model for that, Elias. So
Yeah, no, that's important, I think.
can you see yourself, like, hopefully in 10 years time, when your body starts to say, hey Elias, maybe it's time to stop playing, and the knees the knees hopefully goes to 10 more years, but
40.
but hopefully when the knees don't give up and stuff. And do you see yourself doing this a bit more full on?
Definitely, yeah, definitely. Like
Coaching.
yeah, again, I like kids.
Yeah.
I like to spend time with kids. I like to be around kids because it's the future also, and try to teach them good values. Because if I didn't, I've been in sports my whole life, and if I didn't have good role models when I was a kid, then I wouldn't be the same person as I am now, So
Yeah.
I want to be that role model that I had, when I was young. I want to be that guy for other kids. So yeah, definitely.
Oh, we got
Who's coming?
the door. Okay. So this is this is how unscripted it is, this unscripted podcast.
Sorry about it.
You have the knee. The knee
Jag
problem.
är rädd att det är några sväng neråt. I fall down because you
One second.
know the
2 minutes, guys.
We're good, we know play basketball.
Apologies for that. I think the physio of the Thai national team come to knock on the door to see Kevin. But what were we talking about?
Where I see myself in 10 years. But yeah, definitely. Eurofootball Center is like my passion project. So
Yeah. Me and seeing this, I assume that we've all made mistakes in football, in our development going forwards and stuff. And we know that maybe in the past we could have done things slightly different. I think we touch on certain things that had happened, and then maybe we could have done better. So anybody watching now, any listeners, then they can take this advice on board. So for me, when I coming to Thailand, and again, especially in the youth team at Bury, is like, I always pushed, and it's a good thing. I always pushed to be, can I play in the first team? Can I go to train with the reserves? Can I do extra sessions? It was always good, but there were times in my playing career where I didn't value dropping down a league or playing at a certain level, because I wanted to say, hey, I played Thai league or whatever, even though that meant me not playing for a year or 8 months or however long, or not really playing. And look, in hindsight, like looking back at it, I think maybe it would have been good for me, because then going to drop down all them leagues and be expected to play 40, 50 games in 1 year was difficult for me, like, especially in my development. Like, you spend 12 months out not really playing, just training. It's not so beneficial as you think, even though you might be at a better club. I think it's important for children and young players just to get as much exposure to playing matches as much as possible. So has that ever happened to you guys where you think, oh, looking back at it, could have done this a little bit different?
Yeah, I think for me in Sweden, like, you don't get looked at as a player unless you are in a big academy.
Yeah.
But I don't regret that, to be honest, because I always had fun,
Mm-hmm.
Football for me was like fun.
Yeah.
And I was playing in my village team until I was 15, because it was fun. And then I wanted to stop because I played with the seniors. When I was 15, it wasn't that fun, Then I got called to play like under 19 with my own age, with my friends, from school and stuff. And it was fun again, So for me, like, football has always been like fun. And if it wasn't fun, I probably wouldn't play anymore. So
Yeah.
I think that's the responsibility we have when we take care of the kids, that it should be on a good level, it should be serious, but it should also be fun, like, we have to create an environment where it's fun to play.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, when it's because we have responsibility for kids that aren't adults yet.
Yes. Yeah.
So I think that's important, to remember that football should be fun, create an environment where there's no bullying, where it's like everyone can enjoy playing football.
Yeah.
That's really important, to be honest.
Yeah, we need to create an environment, especially to foster, development in a way where it's beneficial for them and not discouraging them from playing, I know my twin brother especially, he didn't take well to criticism and pressure. So, at 15, 16, he's just like, you know what, I'm not going to play anymore. And it's a shame because he was a real good player as well. And I know it's difficult as a coach, because I see it as well sometimes in school environments when people are shouting and they're putting pressure on children to perform and stuff. But in the big picture, it's about them having fun and having that at the same time gaining that development as well. Can we be serious in a sense at the same time? Make it enjoyable, because that's when you're going to learn the best. Yeah, I think
exactly.
Yeah. Well, what about you, Cian? What do you think? Has anything ever happened to you where you think, looking back at it, oh, I could have done that slightly different, or?
Yeah, too many times, but it's easy to just say that when you look back. But in the moment, you just have to make a decision. And then it's each decision after decision after decision, and then leads you to then ultimately where you are in the moment. So now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, too many things.
Yeah. Okay. But going from, there's such a huge, a big statistic. I think it's something like 80% of players that sign professionally at 18 or 19 or whatever, when they sign the first professional contract, are out of the game within 3 to 5 years of playing professionally. So what's the secret for you to be, how long have you been playing? 9 years professionally now? So
yeah, I signed my first contract 19, so it has to be 11 years to be honest.
Yeah. So, like, I'm part of that statistic. So going into full-time football at 16, 18, whatever, and then to come out of the game before I turn 25, is difficult. So what was it for you that makes you, what's the secret for you to have that longevity in your career?
I never had like super good raw talent.
Mm-hmm.
honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I have a quite big stature, I'm quite tall, you know, but that also makes it difficult for me with the technical abilities and stuff, you know, like, it's a bit more difficult when you're tall to control a ball that's down there, you know. But for me, it was always to have, like, discipline. Like, I rarely missed out on trainings. Like, never. I just was very consistent.
Yeah.
When I was at training and when I was home, you know, for example.
Yeah.
Like, I was very consistent, disciplined. It's something I got taught from my dad, you know. And it wasn't always, we were talking before about having fun, you know. It wasn't always fun. Like, if you want to make it into professional level, like, that's not the target for everyone. I understand.
Yeah.
Not everyone wants to reach the professional level. But if you want to make it professionally, which I had in my mind when I was walking home from school one day, I was like, if I can make a living out of a sport that I'm doing, that I enjoy doing, like, then I will push for it. If it was, I could barely make a living, you know, on my first contract. I couldn't make a living, actually. But my second contract, I could. And then I would. Yeah. That was my target. So consistency and discipline, you know, that will take you a very long way in no matter what you're doing, you know, to be honest.
Yeah. It's, you know, it becomes, in my opinion, it becomes quite easy, you know, when you turn 18, 19, 20 and you start earning money from football to see some players maybe getting ahead of themselves, and it's the age where, you know, you're kind of like experimenting and learning your path in life and stuff, and it's quite easy to get caught up in stuff. Like I know a few footballers, some still in the game and some not in the game anymore, to kind of, like say, just get ahead of themselves, you know, going out partying and chasing after women and chasing this high life of a Premier League footballer. But, you know, in the grand scheme of things, you know, playing in Thailand is, for me, earning 10,000 baht a month, I couldn't do that, you know, and I've seen players that earn a little bit more, 20, 30,000, you know, going out all the time and acting like the big timers. You know, maybe that plays a huge factor into it, you know, as you learn your path as well.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Keep your feet on the ground.
Yeah, agree. But that's you. So you're Mr. Modest. You know, the international footballer has a Toyota Yaris. Yeah.
Not too fancy watches and everything. I don't buy this too much branded stuff. You know, like I like to go second-hand shopping. You know, even for towels.
Yeah,
second-hand towels. That's crazy, man.
Yeah. So
that's mad, bro.
The last 5 minutes.
I kind of have to go soon.
Yeah, call it.
Yeah, last little bit. So you're now with the national team. Is this your first World Cup qualifier?
No.
Your second?
Yeah.
Okay. So talk me through a little bit about your experience playing in World Cup qualifiers and playing against, like, you know, big names. Because I assume you've got a career in your group. You're going to play against a man like Son, Premier League players. What's that like?
Fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I often get the question, who is the best player you ever played against, you know?
Yeah.
And playing in Thai league, you play against good players, like good players, but you don't have these name players, you know?
Yeah.
And when we were in Europe last time, we went with a really weak squad, but still I played against a guy who won Serie A last year.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's quite cool, you know?
Of course, yeah.
Because I play football for a living. I consume a lot of football. I look at football every weekend, you know, like.
Yeah.
And you see the guys on TV and you never actually see them. It's like you're playing different sports, actually.
Yeah.
Because you never get to meet them in any way.
Yes.
But then now you actually get the opportunity in a nice atmosphere. You get to play at good stadiums with a lot of fans.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's something I am very grateful for, to be honest.
Brilliant. Okay. So let's wrap it up because Elias now has a friendly game for the national team.
Yeah.
But thank you for tuning in. If you like this content, comment what you would like to see, who you want us to get on the next podcast, and of course we show lots of stuff on our YouTube, don't we? Lots of drills, maybe some day in the life of a Bali United player coming soon.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
You guys will be able to follow me to Bali.
Okay, yeah, let's make that happen. And thank you for your support. The more you like it, the more you show your friends and talk about your friends, the more that we can then produce for you guys and give you good value, good entertainment, good content as well going forwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else you guys want to add?
No, thank you for watching, and thank you for being a part of the Eurofootball Center community.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There you go. Let's sign out, boys. Thank you. Yeah. Good night.